Now, on the talks that you mentioned, can you be? I know that you won't get into the specifics of the talks, but can you be as detailed as possible about where these talks are, who is involved in them? Is there a State Department component, or have you guys basically just ceded this to the CIA and NSC?
So the talks have been held at a number of different levels in a number of different forums. Bill Burns has been the leader in a number of the negotiations. As you know, they've been conducted through intelligence channels. So Bill Burns has been conducting these negotiations with his partners in the Egyptian intelligence service, in the Israeli intelligence service, and of course in the Qatari as well. Secretary has participated in negotiations around them at times, and of course has also participated in trying to bring political will to the negotiations at time in his travels in the region. And of course, our colleagues at the White House have done so as well. It has been a whole of government approach. In terms of where they are, and you're right, I'm not going to get into the negotiations, but as I said in my opening statement, we did have constructive talks last week in the region to try and reach agreement on the final gaps. I think, as you heard the Secretary say when he was in the region several weeks ago, Israel had agreed to the bridging proposal, but that's not the end of the road. There are a number of important implementing details that require agreement to implement that bridging proposal, and that's what we're trying to get agreement on now.
Okay, but at this point, on September 3rd at 1:30 in the afternoon, 1:31 Eastern time in the afternoon, are there talks going on, and where are those talks happening?
I don't believe there are any talks going on today, none that I can speak to on behalf of the State Department, maybe others in the government can speak to, but even when the parties are not in the same room talking back and forth, there's still work that's ongoing. Oftentimes what happens, you've covered negotiations for years, people get in a room and negotiate and then go back to their countries and work on
and who
hammering
from
out
the State
specifics.
Department is involved?
The Secretary has been involved.
No. In the actual nuts and bolts discussions on the ground, who is
Secretary has been involved. Members of the NEA have been, Near East Affairs Bureau have been involved, and members. I'm not going to get into details. And representatives from our embassies, I should say, in Doha, in Cairo, and in Jerusalem.
All right.
have all been involved at various
last one. And when do you expect this new proposal, which I presume is not that much different than the last bridging proposal, but correct me if I'm wrong, when do you expect that to be presented to the Israelis and to Hamas?
I don't want to set a timetable here.
Well, like this week, next week,
because
you keep saying now.
We are working with our partners Egypt and Qatar, who are the other mediators in these negotiations, to try and hammer out agreement on some of these issues that we think, or that we hope, would get the parties to yes, and we will present it to them as soon as we think we have something that we think can get there, or that we hope will get there.